Was goody? You know what time it is. You know what time it is. It's time for another installment of one of Ill Spectrum's conversational, sensational, inspirational get-togethers. What's good, my people? How y'all been? How y'all been? How y'all been? I hope y'all been doing good. Hope y'all been doing very well. Hope y'all been staying strong, you know? That's what this life is about, keeping the spirit strong, preserving yourself and preserving righteousness, faith, and good deeds within your heart, something that you can take to the Most High when it's time for your judgment. But yeah, this video I want to bring to you the topic of Easter, as a holiday. And my apologies, I'm a little late to this one, but better late than never. I want to bring to you the topic of Easter. I want to break it down just a little bit, just a little bit. I want to bring to you some truth which I have found within these past few weeks regarding the holiday. So this is going to be another Pagan Chronicles, dissecting the history and the origins that is Easter. So, Easter really is a commemoration or a celebration or a remembration, if that's a word, of the goddess, of the mother goddess, and we've spoken about this timeless and countless times again. She comes in many different variations, many different forms, many different shapes, many different names, and many different identities. And Easter is a reflection of one of them. Easter or Ashtar or Astor or Astoreth or Isthar or Eastern Star. You see how those names resemble each other? That is the veneration of the mother goddess. And some of you guys may know her as Juno. Some of you guys may know her as Venus. Some of you guys may know her as Isis. Some of you guys may know her as Aphrodite. Some of you guys may know her as Artemis, Beltane. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. But this one focuses more on Easter or Astoreth or whatever have you. Also, she's also referred to the Queen of Heaven in the scriptures. So the term Pasch or Easter are related through their historical connection to both Jewish Passover and the pagan goddess Astoreth. Pasch is Hebrew and an Aramaic word for Passover, a Jewish festival commemorating the Israelites' liberation from slavery in Egypt. Easter, which is a Christian holiday, is traditionally linked to the Jewish Passover and its celebration of springtime and new beginnings. And that's one of the things I want to highlight to you regarding Easter or Ashtar or this goddess. So this goddess, this mother goddess, just like Isis, she's the goddess of rebirth, the goddess of renewal, the goddess of regeneration, and the goddess of fertility. And for those of you who don't know, spring, even according to the scripture, spring is the new year, because spring is, the time of fertility, the time when trees are restarted, where a lot of animals, give birth, and the time where life and new beginnings are celebrated. And that's one of the reasons why this goddess is celebrated at this time in the spring. Okay, so according to this website that I found regarding a bit of more information about Easter, so the term Easter is not of Christian origin. It is another form of Astarte, as I said, one of the titles of the Chaldean goddess, the Queen of Heaven. The festival Pasch or Passover held by Christians in post-apostolic times, was a continuation of the Jewish feast. From this Pasch, the pagan festival of Easter was quite distinct and was introduced into the apostate Western religion as part of the attempt to adapt pagan festivals to Christianity, so along as Christmas. So, the word Easter is of Saxon origin. Astra, the goddess of spring, in whose honor sacrifices were offered about Passover time each year, And by the 8th century, Anglo-Saxons had adopted the name to designate the celebration of Christ's resurrection. The term Easter was derived from the Anglo-Saxon Astra or Ostra, forgive my pronunciation, the name of the goddess of spring. In her honor, sacrifices were offered at the time of the vernal equinox. By the 8th century, the term came to be applied to the anniversary of Christ's resurrection. All right, so the article goes on to read, there are possibilities for the source of the term Easter. One is that the name comes from the Saxon fertility goddess Astoreth, sometimes spelled Easter or Ostara or Astarte. The legend goes that Astoreth owned an egg-laying rabbit or hare, and the story symbolized fertility and life in the 8th century. And supposedly this author claims that during the month of April, the pagan Anglo-Saxon community used to have feasts to honor Easter, but that custom had died out by the time of his writing, replaced by the Christian celebration of the resurrection of Yahushua. Another accepted origin of the term Easter is that it comes from the German Ostera, which comes from the Norse word Ostras, meaning spring. The pagan holidays of the goddess Ostara or Easter celebrated fertility and new life. The egg symbolized perfection and wholeness in its natural state, and the rabbit was a symbol of fertility. For many cultures, the beginning of the spring season was a symbol of rebirth. This relates to the fact that after the darkness of winter, nature gains a new strength that was symbolized as the ascent of life from the realm of darkness to the world of light. And we'll get into that origin of the egg soon. All right, so previously we heard about how Easter is time and again mentioned in the scriptures as the Queen of Heaven. And, if you read the scriptures, you would have heard this title a few times before by now, So one of the times regarding this holiday, one of the times regarding Easter mentioned in the scripture was in the book of Jeremiah. Okay? And in this book of Jeremiah went on to speak, or went on to say to the Israelites that children gather wood, fathers light fires, and women make cakes to worship the Queen of Heaven and pour drink offerings to other gods, angering God. And this is just something that I wanted to highlight to you guys regarding how these things that we do, these holidays that we follow, a lot of the times they're mentioned in the scripture. We just don't know that they're being mentioned in the scripture because we either choose not to look that deep into it, or nobody shows us. We just lack guidance concerning the scripture, because the scripture, the Bible is so elaborate. Let me tell you, on one page there's an abundance of information, and knowledge and wisdom, which just goes so much over our heads because we don't really understand what it's saying. Like the words are written in English, but at the same time it's like there's so much depth to those words. There's like layers and hidden layers and like several layers beneath the surface level of those words. Something that I've been trying to comprehend lately. But anyway, Jeremiah does mention this in the scriptures. And he mentions, he also talks about why the Most High is angry at the Israelites at that certain point in time because of paganism, because of the Israelites worshiping other gods. I want to highlight something quick. This part right here, and women make cakes to worship the Queen of Heaven. So I didn't know this per se, but apparently there is tradition during the Easter holiday where these holy cross buns are eaten and shared amongst people. And what are they called? Boons or buns? I had it in my notebook, which I left at home. But there is a bun that is eaten on the Easter holiday, and imagine that bun, or that sharing of the bun, or the eating of the bun. It goes back thousands of years to biblical times. Can you believe that? To the point where Jeremiah talked about it in the scriptures, and people still carried out that tradition until today. That is amazing to know. And yeah, man, so the Most High, he hates this. He doesn't, he's a jealous God, and he doesn't like us worshiping other gods, especially after how much he's done for us. So last but not least, I want to bring to you the article of the egg. During Easter, it's very well known that children go on Easter hunts or egg hunts specifically. And I just wanted to get into the origin of this egg that is being hunted during Easter. All right, so real quick, the notion of infinite potential is contemplated in the idea of the cosmic egg. The cosmic egg represents the place where the universe is created. Myths, which span many ancient cultures, describe the very beginning of the universe coming forth from an egg. It is as though the universe bursts out of the egg, dividing into different aspects that make the universe comparable, perhaps even to the Big Bang Theory. So, the ancient Babylonian goddess Astarte was said to emerge from an egg. The story goes that the egg was in the Euphrates River, where it was pushed to shore by fish. One of the shore's doves rested on it, incubating the egg until Astarte was born from within it. The version I heard was that the egg was in the Euphrates River. Fish pushed it to the shore, and then seagulls, or like somewhat birds, started pecking on it until it cracked, and the goddess emerged from that egg. And that is the very same egg that's being hunted today during Easter egg hunts. So, there you have it. This is Luciferianism. This is devil worship, so to say. This is paganism, And this is just one of the things that the Most High sincerely hates, These are one of the things that we really should not be doing at all, catering to other gods, entertaining, engaging, indulging in devil worship and worshiping idols, So keep this in mind the next time you decide to, take part in an Easter egg, or the next time you decide to, celebrate Easter or go to church during Easter. I'm not saying, please don't get me wrong, I'm not saying do not go to church, And a matter of fact, even if you do go to church on Easter Day, that's okay. Just don't go to church because it's Easter Day. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Hopefully, once you hear this, you understand it and you're able to share it with your brothers and sisters around you. Thank you guys so much for listening to me another day. Thank you so much for, allowing me to deliver this knowledge to you. I'm learning and growing as I do this research and bring you guys these videos. Nonetheless, it's an honor, and I'm grateful to learn and grow every day. So, with that being said, you guys keep reading, man. Keep reading scriptures. Keep praying. Keep pondering and meditating on the ways of the Most High. And keep praying for knowledge, wisdom, and guidance, and He will do exactly that. He will lead you to it. He will guide you to it. Thank you guys for listening to me on another video, and I'll see you later. Gone.